Welcome to Kitty's Game Corner, and this is everything's wrong with No Man's Sky. So, you probably played the game, or if you haven't, well, I would probably hold off a little bit at the moment. I've been playing the game for a while now, and you could say that I've seen some issues, some problems, and that's what I'm gonna talk about today. So I'm not gonna talk about things that was promised and is not there. Maybe some of the things that I'm gonna talk about is gonna be like overlapping some of the things that was promised, but it's not gonna be a specific video or hate video about things that Sean Murray promised in the E3 videos and interviews, and you know, all that thing. I think that's been covered enough. So I'm just going to talk about what I feel is wrong with the No Man's Sky game. Sorry, and I'm gonna start with the beginning of the game, or maybe like, let's say, the core of the game. And because when you begin the game and you start, it's a survival sandbox game, so you don't get a lot of things told, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I think that's a good idea. If you want to do a survival game, you have to figure things out. That's cool. And when you play the game you know, changes, and you get some new hints, and you learn new tricks. The problem with No Man's Sky, however, is everything that you're told is so vague. It's really vague, or maybe I'm just really stupid, but I'm pretty sure there is like a really big mystery in the game. I'm actually really sure about it. There is some really big mystery in the game. Now, I went to the center, and you know, I know what happened there, and you probably do as well if you read any of the other interviews or seen some of the streamers. And there's probably some kind of mystery or something that we haven't unlocked that, you know, gives us more information. However, the hints to learning these secrets are really vague. That's a really big problem. So a lot of people, if they found the game interesting, they would probably try to you know, figure out these things. How does the monolith work? Why are some of the words written with capital letters and not small letters in the monolith texts? Why are there different colors when you do the monolith? Why can you push the yellow gold ball in some of the ruins? You know, there are all kinds of questions. Even the question about the portals that people believe are portals. How do you get them to open? Is it working or is it not working? People can't really figure it out. And all of these questions are really interesting. Actually, I believe that that's, you know, what Sean Murray wanted us to ask these questions. You know, when he said in an interview he wanted the community to come together and try to solve the mysteries of No Man's Sky. And that's cool. That's really cool. The problem, however, is when you've played the games for 30 hours, 40 hours, you begin to be tired. You begin to be tired because you feel like you've seen it all, discovered it all. And the fun of finding new recipes is gone, because every time that you get a new recipe, it's gonna say that you already have it. So that's gonna be really annoying when you've done it like 20 or 30 times or more. It's gonna be really annoying. So you're gonna stop doing that. So everything is gonna be something you know. There's only duplicated recipes because when you found them all, you know, there's nothing new to find. Okay, so then you could start creating things for your ship or things for a multi-tool. But the problem with that is there's no, it's just work. It's just work. You can go around one planet and just farm ships to get like 1+ extra slot, or maybe if you're lucky you get like more, but usually it's 1+. There's no challenge in getting a ship. There's no variation in getting a new ship. There's different colors and different chassis, and that's about it. So it gets less and less fun every time they need to find a new ship, because you need to either do the farm the planet option that some people do, and not really upgrade or you know, repair anything, so you can just get a new ship, or you spend a lot of time repairing the new ship that you got, fly to a new planet, find a new ship, and then you start all over again. And that gets really tiresome. There's nothing that really gives any variation to it. Now, going from planet to planet, you expect to find new things. You expect to find new cool planets. You expect to find new animals that you can look at and discover. You expect to find new plants and variation of plants, and you expect it to be something new every time. And especially because you've been promised that what you see is going to be something new that nobody else has seen. And that is in a way true, but only a truth with modification. Because when you go to the, you travel to the center, or trying to get to the center, every time that you jump to a new location, the further you get, it just starts to feel more empty when you travel to a new place. And there is some speculation about not traveling to the center when you actually do try and take the jump to the center, and there's probably some kind of information that we might not be having, or there's something that we haven't done, so we actually don't jump to the center, or it's just a bug. Nobody knows, because again, the hints are very vague, or they're not really there. So yeah, nobody really knows if it's a Sean Murray kind of, I'm gonna tell you something but I'm not gonna tell it, or if it's actually just not working. So if you're supposed to do something else than actually jump into the center and get a new galaxy, I'm sorry, a spoiler there, but if you're supposed to do something else, I'm missing the hints. I'm totally missing the hints to what I'm supposed to do. I've been trying to learn the Atlas language and the different races language, and I got a lot of them so far. And I understand that there are some, some ascension from some of the races, and some of the races killed some lesser beings, and something happened there. And I also had a screen where I was told that it was a loop, and I needed to find a way out of the loop, which is really cool. But I'm missing the big picture. So I can be stupid, I don't know, but I'm really missing the big picture here, because I'm not getting anywhere with what I'm getting. So moving on to the Atlas path is like, I would probably call it the official main story, because finding out of the center, going to the center, that could, you could say that is the the main path you need to do, but it's not like a quest in a quest, if you could say. The Atlas path is a quest that you get in the beginning, and you can choose to take it, or you can do your own thing. And if you follow the Atlas path, you get some interesting dialogue, you see some new things, and you get some new space stations, which is cool. But finishing the Atlas path is really, really, really anticlimactic. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed that I didn't get a small animation or something. I got, what is it, 4 lines of text or something, maybe it was 6, can't remember. It was so forgettable. There was no wow factor. There was no, oh wow, that's so cool. There was a okay, that's okay. I see. But you took my 10 Atlas stones, give them back. I did not feel like I got a reward for what I was doing. And again, maybe that's what it's supposed to, I don't know, but I felt like that was really, really, really annoying. It was just not okay. Because there's no sense of completion. You don't get a good feeling that you did it. You just feel like you wasted a lot of time. So for me, I actually ended up reloading and taking my stones back and selling the stones instead of actually giving them over to the quest giver to have what happened. So I think that's really bad. And let's talk about some of the core game plan. I'm sorry, I can't speak today. The core gameplay on planets. The outposts. When you've seen 10 or 20, you've seen them all. They just have different shacks, you know, put different places. Sometimes the shack is at north and sometimes it's at east. That's the same. The outpost is the same. There's like 10 or 15 variations of outposts and that's it. For a game that's been in development for so long, I'm disappointed that the variation are so small. For a game that has 18 quadrillion planets that you can visit, you have 10 or 15 outposts. Different outposts, maybe. If you even have that many. I would say 10. That's stupid. That gets repetitive so fast. And I think it's a big deal because such a big game, you really notice those things. And it's the same thing with the animals. They maybe consist of 50 different parts. And they quickly start looking the same, just with a different leg, just with a different head, or maybe it has 3 eyes instead of 2. It's the same thing. There are some unique animals, there are some big animals, there are some animals that's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meters tall. But it's not a thing that you see. It's not a thing that you see unless you really, really, really go looking for it. And I think that's a pity, because you should like get a little bit of taste sometime that wants you to take more, but you don't really get that. You really have to look hard for it. And that's where a game gets to be work instead of pleasure. And I don't like that concept. For as Sean Murray, I think he wrote it on his own homepage, is supposed to be a relaxing game. It's not a relaxing game. We need to jump 50 systems to get to see like one unique looking dinosaur animal. That's not relaxing. That's stressful. I don't want to be stressful when I'm playing I'm sorry, I was gonna say some bad language there. When I'm playing a game like that, I don't want to be stressful. So, and the same thing is if you try and when you land on planets, if you have too much speed on it, and you come down and then you exit your airplane, some of the times the half of the terrain is not even loaded. And I've experienced walking around, going out, and then looking to the right, there's no tree. I look to the left, okay, there's nothing there. I look to the right, and then suddenly there's a tree there. I was like, where did that come from? Why? How did that tree? It's like standing 2 meters in front of me, and that's really bad. And that's the pop-in. Is such a bad thing, or bug, or optimization, or it's so bad. You can hear, you know, I'm really frustrated because, to be honest, I really feel that this game could be really good, but having pop-ins like that because the game can't load the textures fast enough, that's really bad. It's the same thing when you go mining. You mine a big gold deposit or something, and then you walk somewhere else and find some other materials, and then suddenly you see this big mining deposit, and then you walk for it, and when you get closer it disappears because you already mined it, but the game doesn't render it until you get closer. It's the same thing when you go into the landing with planets. You see this big planet who has, oh, maybe there's a river there, and then you get closer, the planet renders just rocks. It doesn't even look like a river. It's not even a river. But outside of the planet, it looks like a river. It's just rocks. I've been having in where it looks like, oh, this is really, really big river. And when I got closer, it was just rocks. And it didn't even look what it was rendered. Like the pre-rendering state, it didn't even look like it when it got closer. It just turned. You just see the formation changed to something else. And that's really bad. It's really bad. And that really discourages me to play more with it. So I don't like that. And a huge frustration, like going to something that you already mined. And so what's the point? Okay, so I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna be able to talk that forever. So the planets don't seem unexplored. When all of the times you can like fly for like 10 seconds and you find an outpost with some guy in it, and then you fly at 10 seconds more and then you find a drop pod, and then you fly at 10 seconds more and then you find there are so many things, same things, but there's so many of them on a planet. There's no point of leaving the planet, basically, if you have a planet that has all of the resources. There's no point of leaving the planet because you can just go to the next outpost, the next outpost, the next outpost, and then you can just go to the next transmission, the next transmission, the next. There's so many. They're like cluttered with it. And for an alien race that's supposed to be this advanced, they have like only small outposts. There's no cities, there's no bigger buildings, there's nothing that indicates any form of civilization. There's just outpost, outpost, outpost. I've been flying over a planet for 5 minutes just to see how many, and I counted over 100 on the planet. The explorer feeling in me kind of disappeared. I don't feel like this planet is something new. I don't feel like it's unexplored. Of course it's unexplored. Wow. Of course it's unexplored to me, but it doesn't feel like it. I don't get that feeling, wow, I'm the first one to be here. Wow, this is really cool. So there's no diversity on what's on the planet. If only they did like a planet it didn't have any spaceports, or a planet it did not have any monoliths or anything, but everything is on the same planets. So what's the point? And there's no pattern on what's on a planet or a moon. Basically, on a dead planet there are more valuable resources. That's one of the things. That's one of the patterns in it. But it's not like a specific consistent thing. I've had moons that have plant life on it. Okay, you could call it moon plants, but it's the problem when they look exactly the same when you just came from a lush planet. The immersion kind of disappears. You don't feel like it's something new. So it doesn't feel like a different planet if you have a moon that has plants on it. And there's also something strange about having an ice planet that's closer to the sun than a barren planet that's further away. The planets don't seem to have any pattern in their relation to the sun. And so what's the point of the sun if it's just like there to shine some light? It doesn't do anything, the sun. So me getting closer to the sun and visiting a planet, it does nothing. I won't like be able to tell, okay, this planet's gonna be more warm, or it's gonna be barren because it's too toxic or something. There's nothing. There's no difference in it. So that gives like, you don't get any sense about having an idea of what planet that you're gonna land on. So that's I think that takes something away from it. And I would say that it's impossible, when you've played for 10 hours, it's impossible to die on a planet. You just stack some zinc and some plutonium, carbon, and then you're basically immortal. When you get to learn the recipe that you can do shielding plates, even extreme planets, you are immortal. There's no point. There's no survivability in it. And it's the same thing in dogfights over in the air. If you just have iron on you, you can recharge your shield indefinitely. Same thing in space. If you have iron on you, you can recharge your shield indefinitely. And that's another thing. Space battles? That's a joke. I'm just gonna finish the planet before I get to space battles. That was just yeah, I'm gonna wait with that. Flying over something in your ship, you have no control over your ship. No control whatsoever in your ship. In a game that gives you that wants to give you so many tools to be able to explore, how on earth would they take away for you to crash on a planet or to fly into a mountain? You cannot get like within 30 feet or something to the ground. You cannot get closer to the ground. I've had issues where I was attacking a merchant, and the merchant NPC just flew below me, and you can't look down, you can't point your nose down, so you can't shoot it. And me trying to, put some speed on it and then turn around or thing, it didn't work because the guy was just following me on the ground because they could go down to the ground. So he was just following me on the ground, and I couldn't shoot him. I could not shoot him. It was impossible. I had to fly out into space and then have him, get untargeted by me. So he started doing his normal NPC routine again, and then I could fly in, and then I could get the kill. But I don't like that. Again, I think that's a huge problem. I think it's a huge problem. Now, because I started the space battles, I'm gonna state and talk a little bit more of that. I think the space battles are bugged. Really, a hell of a bug. Sometimes they just bug out, and you have like instant karma on it, and the karma won't disappear because the sentinels have bugged or spawn bugged or something, and so you can basically just farm everything. You just farm, all of the freighters. You can farm whatever there is, if there are any NPCs or something, and they won't go away until you actually dock at a station, and then your karma resets, and then you can go out again. And sometimes it bugs again, and sometimes it does not. But the only challenging part is actually a level 5 starship in space, and even that's killable. I saw a guy streaming killing a sentinel level 5 spaceship. He didn't get any loot. He didn't get nothing. It just vanished. No explosion or anything. When he shot it and it was dead, it just faded out. It was so anticlimactic. I was just sitting there, oh my god. So reward for killing sentinels level 5. I don't know if you're not supposed to, but that's a joke. He didn't get anything. And that could have been a bug, I don't know, because he was doing the spawn killing and just farming. But there's something wrong there. Really something wrong. And the same thing, the bigger ships, they're completely stationary in space. They don't move, they don't follow. They just jump in, sit there, and do nothing. You can shoot at them, you can fly around them. It's nothing, there's no interaction, it's nothing. It's not fun. You don't get any sense of immersion that you're in space. You just feel like you're shooting at a block that just had a chassis. That's not fun. It's not fun. The pirates can warp core scramble you, but you cannot warp core scramble them. So, if I want to be a pirate, why can't I get a recipe that I can scramble somebody's warp core so they cannot jump away? If I found another player at some point. Yeah, I know, no multiplayer. But let's just say, if. Why couldn't I have a warp core scrambler? So I can get scrambled, but they cannot scramble me. I think there's something wrong with that as well. So I told you earlier, it's practically impossible to die in space when you've played in it for 10 hours. If you do, it's because you're not fast enough reloading your shield, or you're tired, or you forgot to get some iron. Or mined some of the things out in space to get some of the things you need to recharge your shields. You can go in and figure out, oh, I don't have the things. Just fly out, mine a little bit, and fly back in. It's impossible to die. After we've played for 10 hours, impossible to die. So I would say there's no challenge in taking on 30 ships. I took on 30 ship with 1 upgrade on my beam. I did not die once. They shot my shields down, I recharged my shield. Shot my shields down, recharged my shield. That was basically the repetitive move I did for maybe like 3-4 minutes, and they were all dead. It was just rinse and repeat. And then we're back to the ship. Why can you not stop your shit in shit? I'm sorry. Why can you not stop your ship in space? You cannot go sidewise either. You cannot do anything cool with your ship in space. Why is that not possible? Why would you make such a boring fly simulator and just give some basic tools? The first 2 battles that you go into, they seem cool. You go in guns blazing and you scream and coffee spill all over the place and you go like, ah, die. And after that, you've done that a couple of times, there's no fun more. It's just pew 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 pew, rinse, repeat. Oh, shield. Oh, remember. If you die in space, you just fly out and get your gear, and you have something that maybe gets damaged. It's the same thing on the ground. There's no penalty to dying. What's the survivability for that? What's it? There's no point. Trading. Oh my god. Don't let me start on trading. Wow. I think the trading is bad. It's really bad. Trade stations have duplicated ships sometimes. I've had issues where I'm talking to one guy and go to the next ship, it's the same ship and it's the same guy sitting in the ship. I was like, what? I just talked to you, it's the same guy. And then the next guy come in, it's the same guy. It's the same guy. You do not even have the nerve, you have the nerve to like put in the same NPCs and just duplicate them. It's like, oh my god. There's no point in trading with the NPCs because they have so little stock of anything you need. So being a trader in the game is completely pointless. It's completely pointless. I would say that it's a blatant lie that you can play the game as a trader, because you can buy 20 or 30 items, you know, of a stock, and that's not enough to earn any credits at all. It's so bad. So the same traders come in all the time at a system. Now what I did find out is if you go to a different system, it's gonna be different traders, but it's gonna be the same one that's just different. What's the ships? The ships are the same, there's different slots. There's no variation to the ships. It's the same ships. So what's the point of trading? What's the point of buying a new ship? Why am I saying shit? Maybe it's because I feel the game's bad. Okay. Well, buying the same as a ship, you just get a +1 upgrade sometimes. You don't get anything new. If you have an upgraded ship with all of the warp cores, you will never find a new ship that has all of the upgrades. So why would you upgrade it? Why would you upgrade your ship? There's no point. When you got a lot of money, you know, you can upgrade to a 48 ship if you want to, but it's just tiresome work. It's a repetitive work to actually get done. There's no fun. You can't take any missions. There's no factional warfare. There's nothing that gets you interested in the game. So getting back to the beginning of what I was talking about, that I think the game has some mystery to it. There are things that we haven't figured out. There are things that has been hidden really well that you need to like figure out how to do. You need to do something in nighttime or something. And I think that's really cool. But all of the above problems that I listed before, and this is some of them, I had to take some of it out because the video is getting long and I don't want to like bore you to death, but these are just some of the things that I put in the video that I wanted to talk about. But those really make you not wanna try and play with the riddles, not wanna go out and explore and learn more language to see if that's what's needed to figure out how you can solve these riddles if they're there. And I believe that only the most hardcore players that really into this game, they will probably try and figure it out. But everybody else, remember, this is supposed to be a relaxing game. Everybody else are gonna end up quitting either before they reach the sender, when they reach the sender and figure out you just get sent to a new galaxy, or just tiresome because you need to mine. It's the only way of making money in the game, is to mine materials. That's the only thing you do. Rinse and repeat. Mine materials. Rinse, repeat. Mine materials. There's no other way of making any credits in the game. And that's too bad. I really feel it's too bad, because the game could have been so good. The game could have been so much more. And I don't know if it was cut, or if it was not working, or if it was never intended. I don't know, and I don't really care. The only thing I care is I bought a $60 game. And what I got was a game that's not working, that's full of bugs, that has no immersion, that has no survivability, that does feel cold and empty and stationary. That's what I paid $60 for. $20. Then I would be able to say, okay, well, it is an indie game, you know, it takes a lot of effort to make a game of this magnitude. But if you play with the big dogs and make a $60 game, which a AAA game cost, then you also have to give something back. You have to give something back. You have to give back a quality of a game that actually works and is not full of shitty bugs. And remember, I haven't even talked about the UI or other things that, you know, the crashes on PC and PS4 that's been doing. I have the game on PS4 and on PC, and I'm not gonna talk about that because I would be able to rant forever. So the only thing I can say is I really hope that they are gonna be able to fix a lot of the things that is wrong with the game, implement a lot of the things that was shown on E3 and other interviews, that was, you know, that was the vision of the game, because I believe that was the vision of the game, not the game that we have now. That's not the Sean Murray vision of the game. That's a dumbed down version that's working almost. You can play it at least. So thank you for listening to my little bit rant about everything's wrong with No Man's Sky. I hope you enjoyed my ranting, and I don't say this normally, but if you feel like it would be really cool to have a like or a subscribe or something. I'm gonna be doing Deus Ex next. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, have a nice day. This is Kitty's Game Corner. Bye bye.